World Wide Web Information Network. World Wide Web WWW, by name the web, the leading information retrieval service of the Internet, the worldwide computer network. The web gives users access to a vast array of documents that are connected to each other by means of or hypertext or hypermedia links, i.e., hyperlinks, electronic connections that link related pieces of information in order to allow a user easy access to them. Hypertext allows the users to select a word or phrase from the text and thereby access other documents that contain additional information pertaining to that word or phrase. Hypermedia documents feature links to images, sounds, animations, and movies. The web operates within the Internet's basic client-server format. Servers are computer programs that store and transmit documents to other computers on the network when asked to, while clients are programs that request documents from a server as the user asks for them. Browser software allows users to view the retrieved documents. A hypertext document with its corresponding text and hyperlinks is written in hypertext markup language (HTML) and is assigned to an online address called a Uniform Resource Locator (URL). The development of the World Wide Web was begun in 1989 by the team Berners-Lee and his colleagues at CERN, an international scientific organization based in Geneva, Switzerland. They created a protocol, hypertext transfer protocol (HTTP), which standardized communication between servers and clients. Their text-based web browser was made available general release in 1992. Berners-Lee CERN team. The worldwide gained rapid acceptance with the creation of a web browser called Mosaic, which was developed in the United States by Mark Andreessen and others at the National Center of Supercomputing Applications at the University of Illinois, and was released in September 1993. Mosaic allowed people using the web to use the same sort of point-and-click graphical manipulation that had been available in personal computers for some years. In April 1994, Andreessen co-founded Netscape Communications Corporation, whose Netscape Navigator became the dominant web browser. Soon after its release in December 1994, Booklink Technologies InternetWorks, the first browser with tabs in which a user could visit another website without opening an entirely new window, debuted that same year. By the mid-1990s, the World Wide Web had millions of active users. The software giant Microsoft Corporation became became interested in supporting internet applications on personal computers and developed its own web browser, based initially on Mosaic Internet Explorer IE in 1995 as an add-on to the Windows 95 operating system. IE was integrated into the Windows operating system in 1996. That is, it came bundled, ready to use within the operating system of personal computers, which had the effect of reducing competition from other internet browser manufacturers such as Netscape. IE soon became the most popular web browser. Apple Safari was released in 2003 as the default browser of on Macintosh personal computers and later on iPhones 2007 and iPads 2010. Safari 2.0 2005 was the first browser with a privacy mode, private, private browsing, in which the application would not save websites in its history, downloaded files in its cache, or personal information entered on web pages. The first serious challenger to IE's dominance was Mozilla's Firefox, released in 2004 and designed to address issues with speed and security that had plagued IE. In 2008, Google launched Chrome, the first browser with isolated tabs, which mean that when one tab crashed, other tabs and the whole browser would still function. By 2013, Chrome had become the dominant browser, surpassing IE and Firefox in popularity. Microsoft discontinued IE and replaced it with Edge in 2015. In the early 21st century, smartphones became more computer-like and more advanced services such as internet access became possible. Web usage on smartphones steadily increased, and in 2016 it accounted for more than half of web browsing. Web 2.0 Internet. Web 2.0, term devised to differentiate the post.com bubble World Wide Web with its emphasis on social networking content generated by users and cloud computing from that which came before. The 2.0 affiliation is used in analogy with common computer software naming conventions to indicate a new, improved version. The term had its own origin in the name given to a series of web conferences, first organized by publisher Tim O'Reilly. In 2004, the term's popularity waned in the 2010s as the features of Web 2.0 became ubiquitous and lost their novelty. At the first conference in 2004, the term was defined by the web as platform. This, however, was augmented the following year with a still modern nebulous expression incorporating the idea of democracy and user-driven content, especially as mediated by the internet. In particular, many of the most vocal advocates of the Web 2.0 concept had an almost messianic view of harnessing social networking for business goals. One of the most influential concepts of democratization was due to Chris Anderson, editor-in-chief of Wired. In the long tail, an article from the October 2004 Wired, Anderson expounded on the new economics of marketing to the periphery rather than to the median. In the past, viable business models required marketing to the largest possible demographic. For example, when there were few television networks, none could afford to run programs that appealed to a limited audience, which led to the characteristic phenomena of programming aimed at the lowest common denominator. With the proliferation of satellite and cable networks, however, marketing began to splinter into highly refined submarkets that cater better to individual taste. Amazon.com was also a leader in adapting user-created content. One of the appeals to shopping at Amazon's site was the inclusion of amateur book reviews, which users being able to leave personal perspective and interact with other reviewers. An even more successful business example of user-created content came from electronic games. Many companies found that by including simple programming tools with their games, ordinary gamers could create modifications or mods and new scenarios that generate as much or more interest as the original game and thereby extend its lifetime sales. This strategy proved especially effective in conjunction with websites that host players, games, and forums for exchanging ideas and files. An, ex- an exact definition of the Web 2.0 proved rather elusive in part because the concept conveys different goals and expectations from the future of the Internet of electronic publishing in general. A leading critic of the Web 2.0 concept was web in- inventor Tim Berners-Lee, who pointed out that Web 1.0 was all about connecting people. It was an interactive space, and I think Web 2.0 is of course a place of jargon. Nobody even knows what it means. If Web 2.0 for you is blogs and wikis, then this is people to people. But that was the web was supposed to be all along. That is, social networking had always been central to the web. 4. According to Berners-Lee, Web 2.0 means using the standards which have been produced by all these people working on Web 1.0. So 2.0 means moving some of the thinking client side, so making it more immediate, but the idea of the web as interaction between people is really that the web is. It was designated that it was designed to be as a collaborate space where people can interact. Similarity. In contrast, Berners-Lee advocated the development of the semantic web, which some visionaries call part of Web 3.0. Similarly, where traditional brick and mortar bookstores could afford to stock and display only a limited range of titles, Internet bookstores such as Amazon discovered that the total sale of niche titles actually exceed those of mass market bestsellers. The, the vast quantity of niche books makes up for their greater sales of a few popular titles makes up. That is, in the new digital environment of e-commerce, where counter space is no longer limited. Generally, Tim Berners-Lee, in full Sir Tim Berners-Lee, born June 8, 1955, London, England, British computer scientist generally credited as the inventor of the World Wide Web in 2004. He was awarded a knighthood by Queen Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom and the inaugural Millennium Technology Prize, €1 million, by the Filmist Technology Award Foundation. Computing came naturally to Berners-Lee as both of his parents worked on the Ferranti Mark I, the first commercial computer. C computer, the first stored program machines. After graduating in 1976 from the University of Oxford, Berners-Lee designed computer software for 2 years at Plessey Telecommunications Limited, located in Pole, Dorset, England. Following this, he had several positions in the computer industry, including a stint from June to December 1980 as a software engineering consultant at CERN, the European Particle Physics Laboratory in Geneva. While at CERN, Berners-Lee developed a program for himself called Enquire that could store information in files that contain connections, links, both within and among separate files, a technique that became known as hypertext. After leaving CERN, Berners-Lee worked for Image Computer Systems Limited, located in Ferndown, Dorset, where he designed a variety of computer systems. In 1984, he returned to CERN to work on the design of the laboratory's computer network, developing procedures that allowed diverse computers to communicate with one another and researchers to control remote machines. In 1989, Berners-Lee drew up a proposal for creating a global hypertext document system that would make use of the Internet. His goal was to provide researchers with the ability to share their results, techniques, and practices without having to exchange email constantly. Instead, researchers will place such information online where their peers could immediately retrieve it anytime, day or night. BernersLee wrote the software for the first web server, the central repository for the files to be shared, and the first web client or browser, the program to access and display files retrieved from the server. Between October 1990 and the summer of 1991, the first killer application of the web at CERN was the laboratory's telephone directory, a mundane beginning for one of the technological workers of the computer age. From 1991 to 1993, Berners-Lee evangelized the web. In 1994, in the United States, he established the World Wide Web W3 consortium at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology's Laboratory for Computer Science. The consortium, and the consultation with others, lends oversight to the web and development of standards. In 1999, Berners-Lee became the first holder of the 3Com Founders Chair at the Laboratory for Computer Science. His numerous other honors include the National Academic of Engineering's prestigious Charles Stark Draper Prize 2007. Berners-Lee was the author, along with Mark Pichetti, of Waving the Web, the original design and ultimate destiny of the World Wide Web 2000.